Show audience is the audience. Audience, thank you all very much for attending. Now, have any of you ever seen any of these fake headlines? Obama signs executive order banning the Pledge of Allegiance in schools nationwide.
I have.
Or what about this one? Van full of illegals shows up to vote Clinton at 6 polling places.
Seen that one.
Both of these are examples of fake news. A study done by Stanford University found that 40% of all high school students and 80% of all middle school students cannot differentiate between fake news and real news. Fake news is an everyday occurrence that many people may come across but may not know that they're being exposed to. Now let's talk about the different types of fake news. The first type of fake news would be gossip blogs and tabloids. Perfect example of a gossip blog would be Media Takeout. It is just random celebrity fake news stories that are made up by people. The website has a lot of advertisements on there where it's just trying to get people to click, basically. Tabloids are the same thing, it's just a paper version of a gossip blog that's sold in every store. The second type of false news would be caused by journalists falsifying stories. The perfect example for that would be Brian Williams. He was an NBC Nightly News anchor. He falsified a story about his helicopter being shot down by an RPG. He later won an Emmy for that story, but after the story was properly vetted and the sources were checked, it turns out it was completely false. The last type of false news is just false news made to sway public opinion. That would be just like the two examples that I showed you earlier. It's made to have the public vote a certain way or feel a certain way. Now let's get into the dangers of fake news. Fake news can cause opinions that can be swayed by others. It can also make personal decisions can be made as a result of fake news. Also, vigilantes may arise in situations such as Pizzagate. And if you've never heard of Pizzagate, it was a scandal caused by a fake news article circulating about a pizzeria being the center of a child sex trafficking ring in the middle of Washington, D.C. This child sex trafficking ring, a vigilante decided to go inside the pizzeria to save these children with an AK-47. And no one was injured. He did end up, shooting up the pizzeria. No one was injured. However, this could have ended in a different way due to this fake news story. Now, if you've ever seen any of the fake news, you may want to follow these tips to know if you're looking at a fake news article. The first tip you would want to do is check the URL it's coming from. There is a fake news site that's called abcnews.com.co. It's clearly fake, but it has an ABC logo, for example. It looks like the real ABC site, but it's really not. It's just fake news. So that's the first step you want to do. If it's a .co or .net, typically it's fake. The next step you would like to do is check if any other sources are reporting the same story. So if you see an article that you feel is fake, you want to go on CNN and check it, or USA Today, any credible source that if it's reported there as well, it tends to be a real news article. You also would want to observe the grammar and punctuation. Typically, real news articles have very little or minuscule punctuation or grammar errors. Fake news tends to be loaded with it. You also would want to Google the authors. Sometimes with fake news, it could be created by different organizations and anybody could be writing it. If you Google the author, they tend to have journalistic credibility, have went to school for it, or have previous stories not written by just some random person. You can also use fact-checking sites such as factchecking.org or Snopes.com. These two websites have people who vet out the sources, the websites, and they can typically tell you whether or not the news is fake or real. Now, tabloids or gossip blogs may be lighthearted, but we cannot forget that the dangers that other types of fake news may cause. You want to know the types, know the danger, and know how to spot fake news.